What's up? This is my third time trying to do this, so my phone is not wanting to act right with me today. So first, I record in my car, and it tends to come out quite dark. I also have other issues with my content coming out pixelated. So I have found this one spot. I'm gonna start finding other spots that I see that when I record, I know it comes out decent. So because I have to record on live, I don't have storage on any of my devices. And even if I did, it takes too long to upload it. I record here and then utilize that footage. So let's first get into a filter where it could look a little, the lighting. I'm looking for one for the lighting. No, that one kind of yellowish though. That versus normal. No, that's a lot better. Okay, we gonna roll with this, girl. As I get better, as I grow with this channel, I intend intend on getting better with this. All right. So today is July the 8th, 2024. It is Monday. I am off of my work shift because we work to live and live to work. Hustle hard until it hurts. Work your fingers down to the bone. And once you pay your bills and got nothing to come home with. Hey, once you pay your bills and got nothing to come home with. Once you pay your bills and got nothing to come home with. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. So before I join that endless work cycle tomorrow, I was coming through to record a video. All right. So it is about 3:30. I have a good 30 minutes before I have to tend to the next issue that's going on. So I want to finish, or if I don't get finished, at least work on telling more of this story, right? Um, okay, so this is part four of basically, I'm going to tell you how the biggest narcissist in my family, in my life, of my life, how I broke ties with them. It was really difficult. It was over 2.5 decades, right? And I'm trying to weed out all narcissistic energy from my life, which is really hard because this world teaches you to be narcissistic. So even the systems of this world are narcissistic. The way the world is narcissism. So it is very hard to expel it all from your life, but God is helping me do so. Okay. So, where I left off, if you want to hear the rest of the stories, parts 1 through 3, leading up to this point, go ahead and look in the description box. I will have those links there. Okay, so it was very hard picking right back up there. It was extremely hard to even find something, an apartment here in Orlando, Florida. My aunt was depending on me. She had gotten herself put out of her own living situation, but she blamed others for it, including myself. She blamed me because I didn't come through more to help her. So, and she just kept saying her family wants to see her homeless, which is nowhere near true. Like, why would I want to see you homeless? That stuff narcissists like. They would love to see me homeless, but I don't love to see you homeless, right? It hurts me when you're hurting. So, my aunt, I was in a bad situation. She was coming through like she was a loving aunt. She was going to help me out of that situation. She said to pay whatever I need to pay to break my lease, get out of that situation with the other person that I was basically in a situation living with, and then be good because she knew I really needed somebody at that point. So I start looking. Is very unsuccessful with the search. I was taking her searching. We were searching all over Orlando, far and wide. I was the driver going to this apartment complex, that apartment complex. It's taking all day. It's taking a lot of time. I'm even going picking up pamphlets and stuff like that, and just searching everywhere. But I wasn't so sure that my aunt was also searching, right? And for me, I'm very busy. So sometimes when you desperately need something done, just don't depend on me, because I will get it done, but I can't get it done in the urgent time frame that you need, right? So I'm like, aren't you supposed to be still searching yourself, right? Okay, but she came in as though she was coming in to help me. Later, she attached, hey, why don't we help each other? Because you need, to move, and I need a place to stay. It did not start straight out on that ground. It came out, I'm the kind hearted narcissist that just wants the best for you, and you're going through times, and I really want to be here for you. That's how it started, right? And then she attached herself to that. So I couldn't find anything, and finally my cousin, one of the second biggest narcissists in my life, he is actually her son, biggest narcissist. Those two, they were tag teaming my behind. Girl, for years they were tag teaming me. So he also was trying to move, and I had made the statement that I know if anybody gonna find some place to stay, it's gonna be him. And it actually was a compliment, because I know how diligent he is. When he wants something, he's gonna get it. They're always gonna make sure that they're taken care of. But it gets back to me that he takes that, oh, you looking down on me, like I just got so much. He threw in more stuff. He threw in more stuff than I actually said. Hold on. Do not disturb. Okay, you can say something and you mean it in a compliment, but the narcissist will place more words in there so that it is not in that. It doesn't no longer mean what it came out your mouth to mean. It's like how you know how on Facebook, basically, if someone likes your comment, you can comment something like, say somebody liked my comment, and then I go back and I change my comment, and then I be devious about, oh, you like this comment, when I didn't like that comment. I liked the comment that was there, right? Or you like the comment that was there. That's how they do. The things that come out your mouth, it comes out your mouth a certain way and is meant a certain way. And they manipulate and change all the meanings so that now you said this. And you're like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And then you get caught in that thing trying to defend yourself and explain what you meant. And they don't want to hear what you meant at all. So you're explaining for no reason. And I always say, I hate to talk because I have TMJ. I hate talking. Every word is so valuable coming out of my mouth because I can barely talk, right? But they will have you just talking and talking and talking in circles. They're not listening. You're getting louder because you're trying to just get one little simple factor in, and you can't. Like, I literally hate it. Or they'll ignore you. They'll get on phones. They'll start other side conversations. So you'll never get out what you're trying to say. It's to the point where when you get tired, you just go somewhere, because that's like running or spinning yourself in circles. Talking to a narcissist is pointless. It is like if you in the middle of your living room and just ran in circles, expecting or expecting to get somewhere. You're doing all of this and it's not accomplishing your goal, right? Or it is so many different analogies. But talking with them gets you nowhere. So it's pointless. But it's hard to not, as a human, want to defend yourself when you know where you were coming from. You know you weren't coming from that hurtful place. So I was like, if anybody gonna find an apartment, I know he's going to. But he twisted my words as though I said that, as though I'm looking down on him saying, oh, he got so much time, more time than me. I'm so busy and I'm so high and mighty that he, with all this time on his hand, of course gonna find something because I'm so busy doing this and doing it. That is nothing like what I said, but that's basically what he translated it to, right, to me. So it was true. If anybody was gonna find a place, it was him, and he found the place. I'm telling you. And he applied, and he got in there. And he was also, now narcissists will help you sometimes. They will help you, but you just know the minute y'all fall out, any help that they have lent you is like it's right there loaded in a pack, and then they ready to just start throwing it at you like darts, just throwing it at you, throwing it at you. I don't even keep track of all the things that I do good for people. Like, I literally started thinking, am I really supposed to be doing that? I'm supposed to be like writing every single thing I do for someone so that I can always remember and I can always hold it over their head. Is that how you're really supposed to do? Like, but that's what they do. So he did find a place and he started putting words in. I was looking for a one bedroom. One bedroom is the hardest, it seems like, to find in Orlando. It is extremely rare. Like, even when places are on waiting lists, the one bedrooms do not be available. Like, there's literally double the waiting list for a one bedroom, which is so ironic, but that's how it is. So he said the place had a one bedroom available. So I applied and everything. Now, I ended up applying. I was approved. So my aunt gave me the money because she was helping me get out of that bad situation. She gave me the money to basically leave. So I had applied for, you got to pay holding fees. You have to pay way more fees than you ever had to previous to 2020 now to have an apartment. Every place is banking off of this detriment, and they make you pay holding fees and this and that. You got to do elevated application fees. Like, everything is so expensive. So you literally can't put your money in more than one spot. So you really got to get on one waiting list and just wait till it's open, if it ever opens, right? So my aunt had paid the amount for me to do the application and to do the holding fee, right? But that's what she said she was going to do, as a loving aunt, help me out. And then and I kept telling her, I can't move now, forget it, I can't. And she was like, no, I got you. So I actually bit that bait. And I knew better than that. But I bit the bait. So she paid the application fee and the holding fee. And so I applied and I was approved. This was like towards March of last year. And then end up that I had, they basically said that they had an apartment ready for me on June, in the beginning of June or something. Because the first one was in March or April, and that one fell through. That was basically because their website was showing that they had units, and people were applying, but it wasn't updating to the website, so they really didn't have units, right? So that's how she was looking and seeing units there available by, I think, March or April. Hold on one second. Every time I get on here, it's like the devil don't want me to tell these stories. My throat goes to itching, and I go to about to choke and cough, which I'll leave this session and won't cough not once. So that is a attack that the devil does not want me to get out these stories, but I'm doing them now. Okay, so she pays that, and the next available after that, so that was the first apartment given away. The next available was, I believe, June, right? So the whole time that I had, because she said, I'm just going to stay there for like a month or two until I finish the apartment search, because She was thinking I was going to find an apartment before she did. And then she'll just start living with me, which I knew was not going to be correct. Like, I didn't even want that day to come, basically. Um, but until she can get, through the waiting list and get into her own place, because of the situation with the trailer. Now it's not as easy for her to rent something because they keep that on your record. Narcissists think about the here and now, not remembering that, if I do this now, this is going to hurt me later. So it wasn't as easy for her to move. Okay, so the first apartment gets given away. June comes and I'm dreading it. I'm like biting down. I got TMJ. So I'm like clenching down, like you get nervous and you just find yourself clenching. I'll be like that, just clenching my jaw. Another nervous reaction is lifting my shoulders. Like this stays so tight and compacted. So I'll be biting down and lifting my shoulders. And when I think about it, I'm like, hold on, why are my shoulders up so high? Drop them. But I was told that was through stress. That's stress. That's a stress response. You doing like this and biting down. I'm like, why am I biting down like that? Like I have to actively think about what I'm doing. But that is basically a stress response. So I was like, oh God, this day is coming. This day is coming, because she already helped me with the application fee. So I'm feeling like I am bound to this, but I'm like, Lord Jesus, I don't want to do this. Like, help me, Lord. Help me if you, please get me out of this. Please let her, that's what I was praying for. Please let her find something else so that I'm not obligated to help her. Please, Lord, let her find something else. Okay, so when June comes, the next date, I think they had approved it, but again, they were allowing people to get through on the internet. They weren't blocking off the apartment. When they told me I was approved, but they were just waiting for this paper or that paper, they wouldn't block off the unit. So if somebody came and applied tomorrow while you're waiting on my paperwork for this, they would get through, right? So I'm like, dang, okay. So that July or whatever date was taken, they said, okay, I think it was June 30th or something though. Then they said, okay, well, the next one coming up is going to be a little while out now. So we're not going to have one available until, was it August? It was towards, I think it was towards August. I believe that was the second one. It was towards August, right? And I'm like, okay, I could wait, but that's still coming up in a couple months. By me getting out and moving out of my apartment that I was in the unit with my brother-in-law that wasn't working, that Ish wasn't working at all. By me moving out, that made it where he had to leave. So I was able to sever ties. Glory be to God with him. But God doesn't get you out of a bad situation just for you to go into another. And that's what we tend to do. God saves us from this situation, and then we go right into the next situation, next bad situation. So I was living with my parents until the next well, I'm sorry, my mother's deceased, with my father until my next apartment is available in August. Okay, so I don't know what happened with that apartment, but somehow that was swept from under my feet, right? Okay, so the next one, I know I remember this day because this is my sister, who dearly departed sister, birthday, September the 21st. They said, okay, well, that apartment, so this is the number 3 apartment, that apartment. So I kind of stayed with them applying, because like I said, it's too expensive to apply other places, and I already didn't have the money for application fees and that. So she had already paid that one there to help me out. So that's why I didn't keep looking for other places as these people play around. Okay, so one was coming available in September 21st. And I remember because that's my older sister, her birthday. Rest in peace. Yes, her birthday. Um, Side note, my sister battled decades with MS and she passed in 2022. So I know I'm going to remember that date. Your next move-in day is September 21st. Okay, so I'm like, oh, well, that's another month or so from now. But deep down, I was happy because I'm like, I literally do not, I can't do this with her. Like, I'm deep down, every time they would say it's delayed, I'd be like a little cheerleader inside of me is like, yes, Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're working it out. That gave her more time to find her own stuff. And the whole time I was praying, Lord Jesus, please find her something. Please help her find something. Please don't let her. Oh, okay. So September the 21st, actually the 20th came, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I was supposed to be moving in. I don't know what happened. Like, I'm calling them, and I'm like, y'all didn't tell me nothing I need to do. I got to set up the lights. I got to set up the gas. I got to do this. I got to do that. What's going on? So they put me on hold, and they come back. And they're like, yeah, there's no apartment available. I'm like, yes, there were. Oh, I remember how the apartment before got taken, right? Because the lady that was doing my application, before I get back to that, the lady that was doing my application, she had called me before I went into work. And she was like, oh, I might have a unit available quicker. Because remember, they held us off to that August. I believe it was around earlier that it was going to be available. And she was like, let me know if you want it because we can jump on that one. But she had already moved it to September the 21st is the next one. So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, Jesus, I really don't want her to live with me like that. Like, this is going to be a mess. The minute I have to address anything, like, girl, this is not going to work out. I already know, because we don't never want to label a narcissist, but we know that they're narcissists. We know that they never are honorable. We know they lie. We know that they twist the truth. We know we can recognize all the signs and the descriptive words of it, but we never want to label them. Yes, you're a narcissist, right? Because I don't know. I guess it's because we question our judgment. And it's always when that's a sign of narcissistic abuse, questioning your judgment. You know they are narcissists. You know they don't care about you, but you're going to question it because they have you for decades. And many other people have been telling you, hey, you don't know what's right. Your perception of reality is all twisted, warped. You're the toxic one. You're the one that used people. You're the one that hurt people. You're the one that hurt people's feelings. You're the one that, it's all you. So you don't want to trust your feeling or your gut feeling, right? Go with your gut. Your gut is the Holy Spirit. He is leading you and he is not wrong. Don't trust the narcissist over him, over the Holy Spirit, over your gut, over what you know, what you intuitively just know. Don't do it because you get in trouble every time. So the lady, I said, how long do I have to think about this? So the lady's like, well, get back to me. I don't know exactly when, but she was like, basically, get back to me in a couple days. She gave me a hard date. I think it was like Thursday or something. Get back to me by Thursday, and I'll do the paperwork and you can move on in. Okay. So I'm thinking, now at this point, the narcissist is living with my daughter, right? That's a whole nother story time, but my daughter is going through jail with her, living with her. She is blaming, she had this dog that just almost was the dog from hell. Almost like that little cat that, what was that guy that was the bad guy on Inspector Gadget? But her dog was like that cat. You know that them narcissists always have a little evil sidekick pet. a little narcissistic pet. And she took up for that pet. No matter what the pet did, like it was causing so many issues. She claimed it was a service dog, which a service dog. Service dogs don't act like that. But this is a narcissist service dog. So maybe narcissistic people's service dogs act like that. I don't know. But that's a whole nother story. So she was with my daughter and going through mess. Like all the promises she made to her, my daughter's complaining like, this is not, whatever. So my daughter was telling me and my cousin, which is her son, about it. All right. So basically, is everyone talking like instead of gathering together and talk, narcissists would talk with you, and then they'll dispel everything you said to someone else, and then they'll tell you bits and pieces of what they said, and you'll be like, no, I never said that. That's not how I said that. So it's like it's so crazy. So he's basically like, well, they need to, y'all as adults need to just talk. Now, how a narcissist that acts very childlike gonna tell you you need to be adult and you need to be able to talk and speak like an adult. You need to have conversations like an adult, but you don't act like an adult. Like how ironic is it? So it was not going the best with my over at my daughter's house with my aunt, right? So I can't wait to get out. She also was living with my father for a moment, and the dog was pooping and doing all types of stuff around the yard, and my dad would try to say something, and no, that was after she was with my daughter. So my daughter had to end up put her out. And then she went with my dad, and my dad, the dog was just doing way too much, and she was like, "That's not my dog. That's a neighbor's dog." So it's always someone else's fault. It's never her dog. It's never her doing. It was crazy. So she was even talking behind my dad's back while she's literally like 2 steps from being on the street, but you talking about the people that's helping you, like honestly. So she's still waiting on me to get that place. So my cousin is like, y'all need to sit down and talk like adults. And I'm like, oh, this is so freaking ironic. How? How? Like literally, you can't get a word in. How we finna talk like adults? So the lady was like, I can get you an apartment now. So I wanted to think about it. So I was like, I told my daughter that, hey, they said that the apartment is going to be available. Should I even do that? And I was like, that's going to mess up what you got going on, because she, from staying with you, was going to help out with this, and that. So if she moves from being with you to being with me, then wouldn't that mess up what you had planned? So me being, not just thinking about me and thinking about her as well, I'm like, I don't want to mess you up. So I was like, don't tell her that the apartment is available, and I'm going to think about it for a couple days, see how she, my daughter right out goes and tells her, because I guess she really wanted her to go. And she was like, yeah, go ahead and take the apartment. And I'm like, dang. I really did not want to take that earlier apartment. I wanted to stay to September, because then I could, I could push for me, I have anxiety, severe anxiety. And when things overwhelm me, or things feel frustrating, or like you're working on something that the solution just evades you, like you do this to try to solve the problem and it doesn't work, and then you got to do this, you got to make this phone call, you got to go see this person, you got to do this next step, this, and it's never done. Those situations overwhelm me. So I try to tend to push them off until I have to address them. Like the deadline has come and you have to deal with this today. That's how I am. But it's because I've had so much anxiety. I live in anxiety. Like I told you, I'm clenched down. I can literally talk with my teeth like this, because I talk clenched down so much. Girl, I'm a whole ventriloquist. Oh, whatever you call it. Girl, I need a little pump. Oh, here we go. I could talk like this because I have been clenching my mouth for so long. Girl, I need a little bit more work though. But yes, I can basically talk with my mouth closed because I'm clenching so much. So she's like, they immediately get in touch with me and like, yeah, take it. I heard that the apartment. I'm like, dang, nobody can hold water. So when I called back to say, okay, yeah, since they already knew, I'm like, okay, well, I kind of already used the money. Like I have to go through this because I used the money to apply and for my holding fee. Now, when you first made that offer, it was never attached to you living with me. Later you added that to the offer in the terms of use. You added that later. But now I feel bad because I did take the application fee and all of that. So I'm like, okay, so I guess this is going to happen. I get on the phone and I call, and nobody, I basically emailed her, text her, was calling her, reaching out to her, nothing. I'm like, this kind of crazy now. Girl, you just said that hurry up and get back to you. And I get back to you before the due date because they had already spilled the water or whatever. And you're not answering back. So I'm like, dang, what's going on? What's going on? And this girl was the type, when you dropped her email, she was right on it. She was getting back to you the same day. So that's odd. And I had a dream about that girl. I pray everything is all right with her because I prayed that something was wrong with her. And then that's when I couldn't get in touch with her. And I really don't know her like that, but she seemed like a nice young girl, whatever. Okay, so I finally go up to the apartment complex and they're like, oh, well, she's not here anymore. She had her baby. She was on maternity leave, but we don't think she's coming back. I'm like, I didn't even notice she was pregnant, but now she's not coming back. And I'm like, okay, so what happened to the apartment that was available during this time frame? And he was like, no, we don't see no apartment. No apartment was ever available. I'm like, okay, this makes no sense. I know I'm not crazy, but you will question yourself because everybody is making it seems like the whole world is in on this joke to make you look crazy. So that's why you are questioning even you when you do know the reality, but you have to question it because it's always came out that you're wrong, like your perception of reality is wrong. So nobody knows she was pregnant. Nobody has they don't know what we were talking back and forth about, which makes no sense. Like, how do you leave a company and you take all the information between you and a client with you? Like, I knew there had to be something back up. Some kind of way they had to document what we were talking about and this and that. But they said no. So I call on the 20th, so we're back to September 20th. So that's like the second or third apartment that was given away. So we back to September the 20th, and I'm like, so what do I do to get ready to move in? And they're like, we don't see you ready for move in. And they put me on hold, and then they come back and they say, well, matter of fact, we can't even let you move in on September the 21st. Now, after the 21st, strategically, the next apartment to move in was October the 15th. And you know why I remember that day? It's my father's birthday. So the dates for the move-in were strategic. They were dates. I am not going to forget that date. Like, I know that's exactly, even though I'm a person that's all over the place, I know you said that date. So the next one was October the 15th. So they're like, no, you can't move in because you have a balance due with the company. Okay, so the balance due was the apartment I moved out of. Now, not just people are narcissistic, companies, systems, all types of things are narcissistic. And if you dealt with any landlords or whatever, when you move out, they try to get over on you. What they try to do is make you pay for everything so that when they flip the apartment, when they go back through and fix it up, the next person's paying a deposit, but you're basically paying for all the wear and tear that they would have had to do out of pocket. Because really, you're only supposed to charge out of my deposit what I destroyed and messed up. You're not supposed to charge me for wear and tear. When I was in that apartment for over, I think it was 3 or 4 years at that point. So they were trying to charge me for, and they were charging ridiculous prices for stuff. It was stupid stuff they were charging for. Like, and it amounted conveniently to be above my deposit, which I think was 700 and something. And then after they took my deposit for small random things, then they said I owed them because I did not do an intent to, I was out of my lease. I got out of my lease, right? But because I did not sign that, I'm not going to re-sign my lease, which you can't do that, because once you do sign something saying you're not going to re-sign your lease, you have to get out. Whether there's a place available or not, you have to get out. So because I didn't have nothing, I did not sign nothing yet. So the moment, and I always knew that the apartment complex, there were two different complexes, but under the same like mother company, right? So they said because I gave them 45 days notice that I'm not renewing my lease rather than 60 days, they charged me liquidated damages, $2,000 to $3,000 some dollars there. So they took my deposit and little stuff like $25 or $15 to remove a shower curtain. They had one like for the blinds, the little things on the blinds, but the blinds was jar body. They said that they had to replace the whole carpet. And I'm like, I've been there for so many years and that carpet wasn't new when I moved there. So you had to replace it anyway. What they were trying to just get me basically. So they hit me with that, and they hit me for another fee that seemed really close to the same thing. Like, yeah, it was the liquidated damages. They said because they lost time to rent the apartment out, which everybody's looking for an apartment. That's a lie. You can rent that apartment out. Like the moment I move out, you can rent that apartment out because there's a waiting list. So how am I stopping you from renting it out? But because they had 45 days and not 60 days, they're saying I stopped that. So they were charging me for all of that. And then they were also charging me for something else. I can't think of what it is. But it seemed like they were saying I broke the lease, but my lease was over. My lease was coming to an end. I moved out at the end of my lease. So how did I break the lease? I didn't break the lease. So it amounted to almost, once they took my deposit of 700 some dollars, it was 5,000 something dollars that I owed them at this apartment. And by that time it had hit collections. So the new apartment being under the same company said that I cannot move in their unit until I fulfill that balance. And I'm like, hold on, how? I was already approved for your new apartment. We're just waiting while y'all keep giving away my apartment while you waiting on paperwork. But this other 5,000 is under dispute. I'm disputing that. We haven't even finished the dispute yet. So they was like, yeah, ma'am, well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to pay. We're not going to let you move in. I'm like, oh my gosh. That is a whole nother story too, how these apartment complexes, very narcissistically, are taking advantage of people in the housing crisis, right? Okay. So anyways, I disputed. Grace of God. God basically led me through that. That was one of the most scariest things that ever happened to me. I've never owed that much to an apartment. I've never even had I had my deposit taken, which ironically enough, the narcissist, my aunt, got it back from me, but that was only $1,000 the time before. But 5,000 plus dollars I owe you, and I barely am making ends meet. How am I going to do that? So the whole time that I'm trying to dispute, the narcissist is on my back. You need to get them to do it. You need to get them to settle this because I don't have no place to stay. I'm going to be homeless. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my name is about to be messed up. I'm not going to be able to rent nowhere else. Like, literally, would you get off my back while I'm trying to dispute? You need to do, you're being too easy on with. I would have sued them. I would have. I'm like, oh my God. I've called I called lawyers. I called legal aid lawyers. I found this other place. I don't even remember what they were called, but they would actually consult with you one time free over the phone. And they gave me legal advice, and they said, yes, though this is messed up, they can do what they just did to you. So I'm like, they can withhold my apartment, though I paid holding fee and all of that before they chalked up these bogus charges in another complex of theirs. And then because I don't pay their bogus charges and they're still being disputed, they can hold my next apartment. And they're like, yes, ma'am, it sucks, but they can. I'm like, what do I do? So the whole time the narcissist is on my back. She's on my back. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to be home. So I stopped even answering the phone. I'm not going to keep, as I'm trying to settle this thing. And this is actually overwhelming. And girl, it was really killing me. Like, it was too much to deal with. And I do have anxiety. So, I was about to literally like lose my ish, basically. And she's like, well, you should have let me talk to them. If you let them talk to anybody on behalf of them, that's what she did before when I told you she got my deposit back. The lady was, after dealing with her, the lady was like, take your deposit, girl. And she was like, no, I'm suing for same pain and suffering and this and that. I wouldn't just take that deposit. My throat keep doing this. I wouldn't just take this deposit. I would do this. They always tell you what they would do. But see, I have a level head and I know I can't just do anything because they have the leverage over me. A narcissist would never think about someone having leverage over them so they can't act in whatever way they want to. My throat does this every single time I try to tell this story. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I got to get back to the kids, but this is where we're at, part 4. Stay tuned for more because it gets even worse. All right, guys, it's your girl, Cat. And I'm going to tell you how God... Oh, I'm sorry. That drop is for my other channel. My bad. I got to remember what channel I be on. But... I gotta tell you how God strategically saved me from that. He got me out of that. Yes, he answered my prayer about finding her other ways besides myself. So that's to sum up where we were at. And then basically her narcissistic son was trying to jump into it, saying that y'all are adults, y'all need to just talk. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. I will talk to you guys later.